Wonderful. And like I said, I'm Andrea Warner. I'm the Market Manager Liaison, and we're joined today with Erica Villegas, who is our Good Food New Mexico coordinator. And as always, Scott is here with us, our jack of all trades. He's our, what's your title at the
Today I'm
NMFMA,
going to wear
Scott?
the forum producer hat.
Oh, great. He's
Yeah.
our foreign
I
producer.
am the NMFMA IT manager is my official title.
IT manager, yes. And our forum top, we have two forum topics today. Oh, here come all the people. Great. We have two forum topics today. One, we'll start with me talking about our promotional funds that we offer farmers markets annually, and I'll go over how to get reimbursed and what type of funds or what type of promotions you can utilize the funds for. And after I'm done with that, and we've taken a few questions, we're gonna go over to Erica Villegas, our Good Food New Mexico coordinator, and she's going to talk about our Good Food New Mexico program and the text reminders that are available for farmers markets. Okay. Like I said, we're going to be talking about promotional funds, reimbursements, and as always, um, our all the information that you might be looking for, anything we talk about today is available at our website, newmexicofma.org. And once you get to our website, you're going to want to go to our Farmers Market Manager resources. I'm sorry, the link is actually resources. Here it is. Let me show you here. Resource newmexicofma.org, and then you're going to go to resources, and then you're going to go to farmers markets and manager resources. And for the information I'm presenting today, you'll be able to find that information under promotional funds and reimbursements. So first, let's talk about the eligibility to be able to receive the promotional funding from the NMFMA, the annual promotional funding. And to be eligible, you need to be a farmer's market in good standing and a public market. And we have very few private markets. These are markets that are owned by a institution like a restaurant. If a restaurant, or we used to have a winery that ran a farmer's market, that would make it a private market. If your market is um, over umbrellaed by a nonprofit, or if your market is its own entity, that's considered a public market and you are eligible for these funds. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me individually, but the markets that are private markets, they know that they are. And to be a market in good standing with the NMFMA, we ask you to pay your annual dues and your liability insurance if you have it on time, and also update your membership profile by April 1st. And also to submit the annual market data by the deadline, which is in December. It's usually December 31st. And if you have questions about what any of these mean, like updating your membership profile or what your market data is, Scott's going to drop a link into the chat of a resource we created for the conference that explains all of the benefits as a member farmers market, and you can read up on understanding where to go to log in to update your membership profile, and also the information you need to take to to submit the market data, the information you need to keep throughout the year. And just as a teaser, in August, our forum will be all about market data. So we will be getting deeper into that later on this summer. Um, so the amount available for markets annually for the promotional funds reimbursements is a base of $300 a year plus $5 for vendor at your market. So if you have 10 vendors at your market, you're going to get the $300 base and then 50 more dollars. So you'll get $350 to spend on promotions for your market. We do have a caveat, and that is some of our markets have, I'll use Las Cruces as an example. They have hundreds of vendors or tens of hundreds of vendors, and many of them are not local agricultural vendors. And this is an agricultural vendor is someone who is growing food, uh, selling plants. If it's a crafter who has sheep and they're making their own wool, or a soap maker who uses their own local goat milk. Those are all agricultural vendors. A non-agricultural vendor could be a jam vendor who is buying fruit and selling it and making their jams out of it. That would be or a baker who is, of course, buying their wheat from somewhere else to make their bread. They would not be considered agricultural vendors. And in that case, if your market has over 25% of the vendors at your market as non-agricultural vendors, we adjust that funding for you that we offer to be reimbursed. And so I'll give you an example. If you have 10 vendors at your market and four of them are non-agricultural vendors, we are only going to give you up to 75% of those get the $5 per vendor. We're only going to count 75% of your vendors. So um you'll get 30 rather than getting the full $100 or the full $50 for your 10 vendors, you'll get 75%, which is 35. So the base rate you get is $335. So it's just, it's we hope that we look at farmers markets as being places where you go and you find agricultural products. And so as soon as your market starts to lean into being more of a maker's market, we just adjust those promotional funds. And the reason is because the funds we get to pass on to markets are come from a grant that we get from the New Mexico Department of Agriculture. And they have specific requirements on what we can spend these funds for. And we'll talk about that in the next slide. The way we work out the funds is from the market data we received from you in the year prior. So if everybody who turned in their market data for 2024 at the conference, I passed out some sheets that told you how much promotional funds you had available and also the numbers of vendors, agricultural and non-agricultural, that you had reported to us in your market data. And that's how we calculated your funds for this year. Please reach out to me after the meeting if you don't have that information. If you don't know how much promotional funds you have this year to spend from us, I'm happy to share that information with you. So that's something I can email you after the meeting. So the purpose of the funds and the eligible uses of the funds. The purpose of the funds are that the funding can be spent on any kind of promotion, outreach, or marketing efforts that will help educate the community about your market by specifically promoting the health benefits and availability of local food. And so this is that Department of Agriculture grant wording that I talked about in the last slide, that in your advertising, you need to talk about either the health benefits or the availability of local food in your area. And we'll talk about that further, what that can look like. Um, or we have some lovely logos, or let me say, we have some logos that fulfill that for you in your promotional advertisements. And that can be this New Mexico Fresh local logo. If you're a Double Up Food Bucks market, you can use Double Up Food Bucks or Snap logos. And you can find all of those logos available for download at our website, at resources, at farmers markets and manager resources, and then at the logo downloads um, page. I think Scott's going to drop all these links in the chat as I talk about them. Um, so th when you're creating any advertisements, you're going to want to make sure that you're talking about healthy food or local food or using these logos. And that's going to make your ad reimbursable for the promotional funds. And now I just like to share a few different advertisements that folks have utilized the funds for over the years. First, I'm going to show you the Santa Fe Farmers Market made this lovely card that can be put at hotels and restaurants. And you'll see down here that they did use, it has the dates and times of all of their markets, and they did use a Double Up Food Bucks logo down here, which then again made it reimbursable for the promotional funds. Cuesta Market made, I believe this was a sign that they made. And again, they use the time and date of their market, the location. And then again, you can see here they have the Snap logo and the Double Up Food Bucks logo. So this was reimbursable again. Here's an exciting one that Quemado Market made. They made a hat, which on the front, it doesn't have any of those educational components that we talked about, but you'll see on the side of the hat, they simply wrote, "Eat healthy, eat local." We can't see the other side of the hat, but it says, "Know your farmer," which was really sweet. Or "Who's your farmer?" I can't remember exactly what it said, but this was a lovely use of those promotional funds. And they had these made through a local printer. So that's another, I'd like to encourage you, if you can, to take these promotional funds for your market and utilize a local person or a local business to spend them through if you can. Here's a sign that Sierra County Farmers Market made. And you can see again, they have their Double Up Food Bucks logo. They have the EBT card on there. And they have our New Mexico Farmers Markets logo. This New Mexico Farmers Market logo is not going to get you reimbursed. It's really that fresh local logo that we'd like you to use for reimbursement. I just wanted to share one more, but I wasn't able to get them into my um, into my, I wasn't sure, I couldn't figure out how to get these into my slideshow, so I'm going to show them this way. This was another, some other pictures of newspaper ads that Corrales sent us, the user promotional funds for, and they did a really great job creating different ads. This one advertises the opening of the market and an event. It's got the NMDA logo. It's got the DOH logo. It talks about local food connects here. So there's your education bit without using the logos we talked about. Here's some other ones where they actually advertise the Good Food New Mexico that we're going to be talking about later. I also like how they, in another ad, used some bits of our calendar of our produce calendar that we put out for markets to utilize, talking about what markets were available at the time of the advertising. And then this was a really great use of these promotional funds. They actually had um, a raffle of sorts that they raised money for their market. You can read about what the raffle was. And so they actually utilize these promotional funds to raise money for their market, which anytime we can take grant money and make more money, that's always a win-win for markets. And we'll be talking more about Corrales. I'm going to show you the invoicing that Corrales sent me in a little bit. So when they did reimburse. So we'll talk about these a little more in a minute. And then here's some. Oops, sorry about that. S Some more uses of promotional funds. What that some markets did in 2024. Um, a market got a subscription for Constant Contact weekly email newsletter, and they send that out to their customers every week, letting them know what foods will be available at market and any other market information they're looking to send out. Another market boosted social media posts to get the word out on their market and on food assistance programs. I pulled these quotes straight from their reimbursements, from what they told me they did with the funds. Um, Another market set up a podcast on Spotify, and they actually use their promotional funds to pay someone to do a weekly podcast about their market. And they interviewed vendors, they talked about the food that was available, they told market stories, talked about local produce. That I thought was a really cool use of the funds. Another market created a bumper sticker and sold it. And so there's another way to make fun money. Oops, sorry. Um, and then another market held a free drawing each week for a produce or a product from a featured vendor who was highlighted on Facebook and Instagram posts. And they used the funds to uh to to they used their promo funds to actually pay the vendor or the farmer that they the the drawing every week was a product from a vendor, and they used the funds to pay the vendor for their product. And so they did like a threefold thing here. They utilized social media to get the word out. They supported and highlighted local vendors, and then they actually were able to give those funds back into their market. I've seen other markets actually create market bucks with their promotional funds. That was another type of raffle that people, or a drawing that people who came to market received market bucks. These market bucks that they could then spend at market. So this is a way to take the promotional funds and put that back into your market. Uh, the invoicing is a little tricky. The keeping the records on this is a little tricky. So if this is something that you're interested in doing at your market, I suggest you reach out and we think about how you're going to show us that you spent the money, so that we can reimburse you for it. But I thought this was a great use of those funds nonetheless. And then lastly, another market purchased time to play a radio ad to promote Double Up Food Bucks, another great use of market funds. Radio is a great way to advertise your market. And then by promoting Double Up Food Bucks in their advertising, it again highlighted the education component that we're asking for by talking about double up food bucks. So it made that radio ad. If they just had a radio ad um, that talked about the dates and times of market, it wouldn't quite cover that educational component that we're asking for. But once they also talked about double up food bucks, it made the radio ad reimbursable. Now, quickly, I'd like to talk about the requirements and procedures for reimbursement. We do mostly pay markets on a reimbursement basis. After they've spent the funds, they send us the invoicing information, and our bookkeeper sends a check back to them for the amount that they had available. So some markets will spend more than their allotment, but we can only reimburse you for the amount that your market has available for the year. Um, in certain cases, smaller markets who maybe don't have a bank account or don't have the funding available to be able to get reimbursed, they'll reach out to me and say, and um we'll approve whatever the advertisement is going to be, and then you can have the vendor, that market will have the vendor send us the invoice directly, and we'll pay the vendor rather than the reimbursement. And so if that's something that your market needs, please reach out for prior approval just so we can expect the bill coming. We like to pay the bills in a timely manner for you. And so it helps us know to expect that we have a bill coming up that we'll need to pay. The documentation necessary to get reimbursement is the invoice from the vendor, which is as simple as a receipt. Um, Explaining, the invoice that the vendor gave you. You can take a picture of it. You don't have to send us the actual receipt. Taking pictures and uploading those to our form, which I'll talk about in a minute, is fine. We'll need physical evidence that the promotion occurred. So that can also, as you can see, I showed you some of those, the physical evidence that Market sent me last year. A photograph is fine. Um, If it's a radio ad, the radio will usually send you a recording of your ad and you can share that with us. If you're if you have any questions, you can reach out to me prior to spending the funds so we can think about how you're gonna submit your documentation if it's something out of the box. And then lastly, and this is the most difficult for markets, is a proof of payment. So a cleared check, a credit card receipt, a credit statement. Every once in a while, an invoice will come back print with paid. Like if you've already paid it and they send you your invoice, they'll stamp paid on it. That's only accepted in certain circumstances. So again, that's the kind of thing we're going to want. If you can keep a proof of payment, that's the best way to show your proof of payment is a cleared check or a credit card receipt. Cash payments are tricky for us to be able to use as documentation because there's not that paper trail. So it's always best to try and use a check or a credit card. It can be a personal check or a personal credit card, and we will actually reimburse the name to reimburse to the person who spent the money. So if the manager or a board member is paying for it, that's just fine. And we can reimburse that person directly. We just need to make sure we have the proper documentation. And here's the invoice from that Corrales ad I showed you, and you can see here it was 168.97. They sent me the invoice. This was perfect. And then here is their bank statement, and here with these arrows. Oh, something's wrong with the money, or am I? Sorry, I had I had something over where the money is. There's 168.97. So this is a perfect example of a bank statement for to show us the proof of payment. We can see that it went to the newspaper. So this is perfect. Here's another invoice for a banner. Here's the $247. And then here is a canceled check that the bank, if you go into the bank, or you can find this on your online bank account as well, you can actually find the canceled checks. So this is another, and you can see that it came from a nonprofit that umbrellas the market. It didn't actually come from the market itself, but we can see the 268.23, and we can see that they paid WX Fire Graphics. So this is perfect invoicing. Um, so the deadline for promotional funds reimbursement is November 15th, and we'll send out reminders in late October that we'd like you to get your reimbursements in if you haven't already. Ask for them. We'd like for you to send all your reimbursements in at once. So if you're doing multiple if you're going to do multiple, if you're going to spend the money in multiple ways, we'd like you to keep all of your invoices and documentations and send that all at once to us, and we'll cut you one check. We understand that that's not always that markets can't always do that. And again, just reach out and talk to us, and we want to help make it work for you. If you need to send us three reimbursements, like I said, it's not always the best, but we can help you with that. When I was a manager, I had a Google folder on my in my drive, and anytime I spent any of those funds, I would just start collecting all of that invoicing information in that folder. So it was already really available when I was ready to submit for reimbursement. And when you're ready to submit documentation on our website, there's a promotional funds reimbursement form, and it's as easy as dragging and dropping the photos of your promotional campaign and the invoices into the right boxes and hitting send. And then we get notifications that get sent to our bookkeeper, and we cut you a check just as soon as we can. And of course, if you have any questions or you'd like to get prior approval, please reach out to me or Amy, our bookkeeper, and there's the addresses to reach out to us. And like I said at the beginning of the presentation, everything's available on the website. So if you have any questions about this, you can go there as well. And I can take any if anybody has any questions right now, I'm happy to answer questions about promotional funding. LeVar, I see your hand.
Um, we were literally just having this discussion at our staff meeting prior to this for our gala that we're planning to have at on November 15th. We were under the impression prior that we wouldn't be able to use any of the promotional funds to promote the gala, but based off of what you told today, there are ways that we would, and I just want to know run some of the ways that I was thinking of based off of the presentation earlier, just to make sure that we're on the same page and that that would be a way that we would be able to use those potential funds. The way that I would see promoting the gala is that the gala is for supporting the farmers market, which allows for the use of SNAP, double up food bucks, things of that nature. Um, so I thought that would be one way that we'd be able to use it. And then the other way was saying that the dinner that the gala is going to be offering was the produce purchased from for that dinner were from farmers that accept SNAP and EBT and double up food bucks. Would that be an acceptable use that would be able to be reimbursed or no?
Yeah, and so you're utilizing the money, you wanted to utilize the money to advertise the gala or
Right.
to, yeah,
Correct.
and again, as in your advertisements, as long as you have that, if you one of those logos in there, that's gonna cover it. Though that's like your magic band-aid for
Right.
making that. That's what we wanted to make it easy for you, so we have those logos. And then of course, we actually I wasn't able to share it here, but we actually had a market last year who got sponsors from local businesses and then created a banner to thank their sponsors. And they utilized the promotional funds to create that banner because they utilized logos and some wording that that fulfilled the promotional funds reimbursement requirements. So yes, these funds are they we really it's great to see the creativity that markets. And anytime you can use this money to make more money, we say go for it. Jacqueline, I see you have your hand. Hi,
Thank
Jack.
you.
Nice to see you. Thank you, LeVar.
Hello, hello. So I just had a couple questions. And just to clarify, so the Food Hub would not qualify, right, for the promotional funds because we're part of San Juan College?
No, that's a public institution. And so you're still
Okay,
a public market and you're the umbrella to the farmers market. So you do, you do get the funds are available.
awesome. Okay, and so then the other question was relating directly to the Farmington Growers Market. So there's not a cap as to how many vendors on that $5 promotional fee, as long as we stay within the parameters of more than 75% of our vendors are agriculture.
Yes, if more than if you have 10 vendors and 8 of them are or 2 of them are non-agricultural, you're going to get 100%. It's just when you start to go, you're going to get 100% of those $5 per vendor.
Okay,
Everybody gets $300, but it's just like explained earlier. I won't go into it. It's confusing. We
that's
do the
okay.
math for you. And if you have any questions, reach out and I'm happy to explain it one-on-one to folks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. Were there any questions in the chat or any more questions on?
No additional questions from the chat, but I'm glad people are
Great.
throwing some great examples out there.
Yeah, and we can have more time for questions at the end of the session. I'd like to make sure that Erica has enough time for her presentation. So we're going to move on to our Good Food New Mexico presentation, and I'm going to mute myself and give the mic over to Erica, our Good Food New Mexico coordinator.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica. I currently live in Silver City, New Mexico, not too far from Andrea, and I've been with the group for about a year now. So today I would like to talk to you about the Good Food New Mexico program and how it can benefit you and your markets. So the Good Food New Mexico is a bilingual statewide health texting program. Okay, so whoever signs up, it's for the entire state of New Mexico. As soon as someone signs up and they move to another state, they're still going to get the text messages until they choose to opt out. This program, I think, is truly fantastic. It's entirely free to both the subscribers and your market, and everyone can benefit from the valuable information that we provide without any cost. So again, it's completely free. So we also work with other state partnered subscriber or other state partners who then have subscribers. And what I do, the text messages that I create for these partnered subscribers is these text messages, the initiative is to promote healthy eating. I send out nutrition tips, recipes featuring local produce. I also send out things on food preparation, market shopping tips. Also, I'll put in there, if I feel there's produce that some people may not be familiar with, but is in season. I also, as much as I can, highlight the importance of New Mexico grown fruits and vegetables. So that is one of the priorities, is to promote New Mexico grown fruits and vegetables. So now I'd like to talk about why you guys should use the Good Food New Mexico program. As I mentioned, it is a text platform. We can send out weekly reminders. So if you decide to do this, we can customize a text message together to send out to the subscribers that have chosen to receive messages from your market. These weekly reminders can increase the awareness, your foot traffic to your market. It'll increase your sales. You can also, if you have something, that you really want to get the word out there to invite people to come on over, we can create a message for that as well to send out to your subscribers. Also, for example, let's say your market is moving in a month and you need to let everyone know, or there's been a time change. This would be a great way, a fast way, convenient way to remind people who visit your market about that. The other reason I think this is a great program is because it also creates an engagement. It connects farmers markets with their customers in what I feel is a very direct and personal way. These regular updates, they keep the customers or the subscribers informed, excited about market offerings. It encourages repeat visits. And again, it supports local farmers and the community. I've been told, and there's data to support this, that the text messaging offers a very convenient way for customers to obviously receive the information, but it also makes it easier for them to plan their shopping trips because one, it's a text message. I mean, everyone's pretty much carrying their phones with them nowadays. Also, it's easy for someone to go back and look at a text message because they maybe forgot, right? Rather than losing that postcard. And then again, I'm all about the saving the trees. So again, no, less paper trails by using the text messaging program. Also, as I mentioned, let's say someone lives here in Silver City, but is going to be out in Santa Fe. They can go ahead and opt in with a special keyword. Every market will have a special keyword and they can opt in into as many markets that they want. So if someone is here in Silver City and they want to go out to they go out to Santa Fe or Albuquerque every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever, they can opt in and then they'll be receiving those text messages as well until they choose to opt out. So the people have the ability to opt in and opt out of this program when they choose to. And so again, this is why I feel the program is a great way to expand the farmers market's reach by promoting out to these subscribers. And it's very easy to get started. So Scott will help me out here. Like we said, every single market out in the state, we created a special keyword that people can then text to subscribe. Also, we do have QR codes that people can scan with their phones and it would do the same thing. I know I'm missing one more thing. Scott, am I missing one more thing?
Maybe you're thinking of our ability to generate URLs that
Oh,
you can
yes,
include.
yes.
And
Thank you.
imagine a link that you could click that sends people down this opt-in path for your market location specifically. Instead of scanning a QR code, they're clicking a link and doing the same thing.
Yes. And also in these text messages, we can attach links, PDFs, pictures. So, or like Scott said, that link could, if you want to start sending people to your website or your Facebook page, that can also be done as well. It's so much that you can do by working with us to really increase that foot traffic to your farmers market. Let's see. Oh, and no, I think that's everything. I think I just about covered pretty much everything. And so I really encourage even you as the managers of the farmers market to opt in as a subscriber in general so that you can see what messages are being sent out on a weekly basis. And if a person does end up subscribing to your farmers market, they will be receiving 2 text messages a week. Just want to put that out. They'll be receiving a text message from your market reminder, whatever you choose, And then also a text message that I pretty much send to every single person that is a subscriber to the Good Food New Mexico program.
Erica, we have a question in the chat here. David's wondering, since he gets the information on Friday afternoons about market on Saturday, that he'd like to get that info out. And I know that's something that the amount of lead time, it's not something instantaneous for these texts. The amount of lead
But
time you need. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but the great thing about these is if you already know what's kind of might be happening, I can schedule a what we call a broadcast. That would be the text message that's going to be going out. Schedule it in advance to go off or to be sent out at a specific time and date. So, David, let's say you and I, we work together, we create a message, we at least have the body. And then as soon as you find out what's happening, it takes a few minutes for me to go in there and then add whatever we had to add to that. So it allows me to also prepare in advance. I do ask that give me at least minimum 2 weeks of a notice when there's a change or something that we need to, send out. For example, if your hours change between summer and winter, please let me know 2 weeks ahead before that time change or before you would like people to know about the change.
So a market that wanted to get like a weekly update on what produce was available, there's not enough. There might not be enough time weekly for you. You want
No,
2 weeks
right, right,
lead
right.
time.
But let's say, for example, let's say you're getting, so I've worked at farmers markets before, and as an example, we had butternut squash out, and this was in Colorado, and didn't really do too well. Well, it turns out it's because people didn't know how to cook it or how to eat it. Um, and so it's these little things that once people are informed about them, and they know how to use it, they'll use it. Um, let's say that's not the case, but at least by texting and connecting with the person, I feel it allows the person receiving the messages to feel much more comfortable going to a farmer's market and engaging in conversations with the people who are producing our food. So
So in
even
that
though,
case, then sending out a recipe for butternut squash, and maybe you could even send a link on how
yeah, so
to
like
cut
let's
the
say,
squash prior to cooking it would be something that you could do through text.
right,
And
right.
with
And
two
it
weeks
would
lead time, you'd know that that would be enough time to know that you have butternut squash coming out and to get people that
And
information.
also, just communicating with me if you guys have something out in a market that we need people to just know a bit more about, rather than creating a specific text message for your market. I would then think about, well, is this a seasonal food that people just aren't aware of? Then I would create something to go out to just every single subscriber. So that would be something else that we can do, because I am also looking for feedback from farmers markets as to, helping to try and get more people involved and engagement. So the more I hear about what's going on in different places around the state at the farmers market, it allows me, gives me more options, and I can get really creative with sending things out to everyone. Because what I also like to do within these text message is really also promote, like I said, the New Mexico grown fruits and vegetables, which is a priority, but also our New Mexico culture as it pertains to our special food needs here and what grows here, and to the variety of cultures that also live here as well.
So I just wanted to also address a couple things. I see we have a couple questions. I just wanted to, well, before we go forward, I wanted to say that we also have um, uh, marketing information available for your market. Last August, we sent out placards to every market that had your personal login or what opt-in code or
Yes.
word
So
on it for you to be able to put up at the information booth or around market. Oh, David's trying to hold his up there. I don't think your background screen let us see it. David,
you're
thank you
muted.
for bringing it. If you need more, go ahead and reach out to us. We can send you an email that has that graphic in it, and possibly send out more of the. It was just a laminated 9 by 11 that we sent out last year.
Yes, and
Also,
if you
if
need
you need,
more,
yeah,
Andrea, if you any of you need more, Mark will then, there you go, David, thank you. Mark will then, or sorry, Scott will then post my email address and just email me saying that I need this or this, and then I can get that for you as well. So feel free to reach out to me if you need any of those.
and Lavar's had his hand up for a while, and I see Z has a question that I can respond to after we hear from Lavar. Go ahead, Lavar.
Yeah, my question was just what is there a specific time that you would be best to contact you to get to talk more about customizing a specific text message that we want to send out?
So what I like to do is, just send me a text message. Hey, Erica, uh, I want to do a text message, and then from there, you can let me know whether you prefer communications via email or whether you want to, do a video or even just talk on the phone. I personally love to engage with people, so if you want to call me or do a video, I really prefer that over email, but there's really no preference. So first, just email me, and then we'll set up something to get things done.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And Z asked about general demographic information or a particular age range. And I'm wondering if maybe one of my other NMFMA folks can talk about this more. What I remember is we had a person do a survey of market shoppers that we presented at our 2023 conference, and she was looking at specifically marketing the Double Up Food Books program. But what she found through talking, or these researchers found from talking to market shoppers, is that there was a lot of interest among seniors, among folks who aren't using social media, and I can talk about like specifically women and specifically over 60. And I don't have exactly that information. I know we have it available. I don't have it off the top of my head exactly, but that there was a lot of interest in receiving text reminders. And when I was a manager at Silver City, something I would actually do is I would help seniors at the information booth. We didn't have a QR code then that they could take a picture of with their phone. I think it's so great that we have that available now for signups, but it's something as a manager you can do. If someone says, "Oh, I wanted to come last week," I'd have this conversation with seniors. "Oh, I always forget to come Saturday morning and then I get here too late." I would say, "Well, we have this text program." And sometimes that just understanding the wording on that poster about text, the word we were using at the time was peach, text peach to this number. That can be more technological than some people can handle. And so I would actually help them get it in their phone for them. And so training your market staff on this program and how to help people sign up is another great. But if you're looking to get more people enrolled in this program, that's one great way to be able to get more subscribers at your market. Did you have something else, Scott? I saw you come offline or come
Yeah, Z's
up.
question was intriguing because, like, technically we can do that. And the one way we do that in most of our opt-in paths is we ask language preference and we store that. So we know if somebody says, I prefer messages in English or messages in Spanish. Just because we've got the ability to do that, I would want to be mindful of like the legality of asking for more of that information. That's kind of, it's relevant to us as marketers and wanting to hit senior citizens with a message pertinent to them. But I just like to be really mindful of the types of data we're storing on people across the board. Yeah, we might get creative, Erica, and kind of brainstorm ways to learn more about our Good Food NM subscribers. Because
To
right
add
now,
to that,
because of their opt-in paths, we know who's signing up in Clovis, where I live, versus who's signing up in Silver City, where Erica lives. Yeah, knowledge is power with marketing, but just like to be
yes,
careful.
and just for everyone knows, in case this comes up, and sometimes, there is people that come up with this question, um, the platform we use is HIPAA compliant. Okay, so if you are interested in a copy of that text, the HIPAA's compliance white paper, um, is Christina Kabler still doing? No? Okay, email me and I will find out who has that and be able to get it to you. But yes, we are HIPAA compliant with that. Um, Also, I never ask for if somebody wants to give me their name, their name will be in there, but all we're capturing is phone numbers. Sometimes I might do surveys saying, please let me know how many children you have in this age group, right? So then I can get information like that. Or how many times a month do you visit your local farmers market? That would be like a good question for specific farmers market, and then you can get an idea. I can also let you know how many people are actually subscribed to your specific market as well.
And Mark has a great question in the chat about if we have any tools to help promote on social channels, like digital squares and
As far as with the texting program, what I'm allowed to do with the texting is I can create links that will then direct the person to whatever social channel you'd like them to visit.
I think this might be the other way around. Is it, were you asking
Yeah,
it this
if I
way?
can just to
Yeah.
clarify, I know maybe that wasn't totally clear, and
Yeah.
and forgive me because I should know the answer to this and I don't, but perhaps Scott might. We had some digital squares that were simply little images that you could place on Facebook or your own Facebook channel or your own Instagram channel to let your friends in your network know that Good Food New Mexico is available, and it would have the code, etc. I know we had a version that had kind of our generic peach code in it, but I'm wondering, do have we ever come up with something that has the individual market codes?
We kind of briefly talked about that yesterday, Mark. And so, if anyone's interested in getting kind of the building blocks that are pertinent to your specific local market, like LeVar, I'm going to pick on you because I see you front and center on camera. For Downtown Growers Market, we've provided you with a flyer that has the QR code, but if you want the URL that you could put on social media links, or if you want the QR code by itself, so you could bake it into your own Canva templates or whatever you're doing, we can give you those specific building blocks. So I would just suggest reaching out to us, Erica, myself, and we can give you those pieces. And then that way, everybody's kind of opting in through that same pathway for Downtown Growers Market, for the Santa Fe Farmers Market, et cetera, et cetera. And we're keeping an eye on those numbers. I say we. Erica's doing a great job keeping an eye on those numbers and seeing where there's audience growth for Good Food NM. And so we'd love to enable you to grow those numbers yourselves, and we'll certainly help you the best we can as well. Does that answer your question, Mark?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Cool.
And I see that Ron's put something in the chat here that makes me realize actually we have Corina and Ron who both are helping to start new markets. And so they're gonna need a new opt-in word. And I see that Ron's already interested and has sent an email. Corina, if you're interested in getting this program started for your market, I suggest you reach out to Erica as well, and we can get the market rolled into this program. All of our existing members from 2024 should already have their opt-in words, but I realize as we get new markets, we need new opt-ins.
Yes, and to those who have sent me the email, just to let you guys know, I am not a full-time employee. So, give me at least 24 hours to 24 to 48 at the most to respond to you. And then I will be out of the office in July for about 10 days, but just keep that in mind. Also, once we do make contact and I email you, my number is at the bottom of my email. Feel free to text me. I don't mind text messages if it's urgent.
Well, great. And there we are right at noon. I want to let folks go who need to drop off. And if anybody has any more burning questions, and that we can stay on and answer your questions. And if you want to if you have the ability to take your camera or the interest to take your camera off of, or put the video on and just wave hello or goodbye to us, we always love seeing your faces. Hi, Z.
So
Bye,
the
Jacqueline.
QR code with no context that I just posted, LeVar, I'm pretty sure that's the one for Downtown Growers Market. It says DGM. Everyone sign up for LeVar's market reminders via GoodFoodNM, so we can go shop with him. But yeah, thank you all for attending and look forward to your future questions.
Thank you. That was great.
Oh,
Very
thanks,
helpful.
Z. Good, I'm glad. It's always nice seeing you. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate all our regulars who come to our forums monthly.
Thanks.
We're
This
gonna
was
have you
fun.
hosting this forum soon is what's gonna happen. What was that, Ron? Sorry.
I was just saying thanks. This was fun. Sorry that I don't have the camera on this PC. My laptop decided it wanted to update today, so I'm like, okay, fine. It's still doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep. That happens.
And Ron, since we may not have a pre-existing QR and URL and all that alphabet soup, since you've changed markets,
No,
that
it's
doesn't
just
mean we
brand
can't
new. Yeah.
create new ones for you. So that'd be something
Yeah.
Eric and I would team up on and give you that opt-in path similarly.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to happen today anyway. So.
No worries.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too,
you.
LeVar. Take care.
Bye, Z.